I wonder if she can.
Yeah, it does. Shows that.
Okay, she started YouTube, she said. So go ahead.
All set?
All set.
Okay. Start with the pledge as we always do, sitting down, because standing up is a little. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God.
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we do have one meeting minutes. That's the last one, December 15th. Anybody have any comment, questions?
Issues.
Hearing nothing, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll move.
Al
Second.
moves and Joe Limbeck seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Once again, a unanimous approval. Good job, Lisa.
You're welcome.
I don't think we have correspondence this time, right?
No, not as of right now.
Okay. We have some updates. Dave is here. Anything from the town board?
I would just let you know that obviously we have gone back to meeting in the boardroom. We're doing the social distancing. We're spread out at the boardroom table and the chairs are spread out. We haven't had very much public there, obviously. We're still doing the Zoom and our YouTube live. Susie's still broadcasting our meetings. As we get ready to enter into 2021, here we are 12 days in. The board wanted to kind of do I guess we're kind of doing a pause. I guess Jack encouraged us to kind of do a pause in terms of, people are anxious for, obviously everybody's got COVID fatigue, but we're not finished with this yet, obviously. And, we're not equipped to open up the rec facility and to do some of those things. And obviously we went ahead and rented that out for the school year anyway. But, our pause is really to kind of get us through the next 3 months and see what April's going to start to look like. And we'll have more information. We'll see how the vaccines are getting out in New York State and around the country and things of that nature. But I think that, we really were very pleased, to be honest with you. We were very, very pleased with the town employees. And we sent kudos to all of our committee members, all of our town employees, working through these difficult tasks. It's not easy doing Zoom. It's not easy, working remotely all the time. And people have really hung in there and we're talking about the highway guys. I never see a truck without the guys wearing their mask. They're taking it serious and all of that. And, knock on wood, we've been pretty fortunate with the town and the county as a whole. And I think now it's not, now we all know somebody who's had COVID, and we all know some folks who've suffered some tragedy probably as a result of it too. So, but other than that, I would say that we're off to a good start. And, I just wanted to, jump in here tonight. I'll be with you guys for the first quarter of the year. I follow your minutes all the time, and I wasn't displeased that it was a small agenda for tonight. So.
Okay, I don't think we have anybody else representing a board or committee. Am I wrong or am I right, Lisa?
Nope, Kim's not on, but if you want to know next meeting, I can go through that.
Why don't you do that?
Okay. Your next meeting will be January 26th. You have 3 public hearings. You have Victor Hills Golf Club conveyance plan at 1397 Brace Road. The applicant is requesting to subdivide 3.09 acres from a parent parcel of 123 acres. The second one is Ultimate Grace at 966 Strong Road. The applicant is requesting to create a 2-resident hospice facility with room to rent for family members. And then Tavstuka Addition should be back at 1135 Willis Hill Road. Applicant is requesting approval to construct a garage and residential addition to an existing family residence to be used as a second dwelling unit for family. And then any carryovers.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Our first item is an informal discussion, so there's going to be no input from the public on this. It's Newcomb Oil, 8025 State Route 96, zoned commercial. Owner Mike Newcomb. The applicant is proposing an addition onto the existing building, and they're looking for direction and feedback on the proposed facade elevation changes. Okay, who do we have here for that? Kip Finley. All right, why don't you let us know what you want to do?
Well, we've owned this gas station since the late 70s.
Mike Newcomb.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, the building's old and then needs to be updated, needs to be remodeled and fixed up, and we're proposing doing that. I kind of like the period the building was built in the late 60s, and think we'd like to stay with that architecture. We basically just be fixing the building up and adding some to the right side of it, and enhancing the front and just updating the site.
Okay. Anybody from the board have any questions or comment at this point? Yes, Joel and Beck.
I looked at the proposed new elevations, and I think it is a nice update, frankly. The old front elevation looked pretty dated, and the reduction and updating in the windows, the addition of the brickwork, and the variations in the roof line all appear pretty attractive to me. I like the way it looks.
Okay, well, thank you. Aldalena, being on the
No, I just would agree with Joe's
committee.
comments.
Okay, Scott Harder.
Same. I just had a question more on the site. Are you, or is there any proposed changes to the site in terms of lighting or landscaping?
Well, we would definitely be updating the parking lot lights, but you know, we would like to make the site look better with better landscaping. I don't have that plan figured out yet, but
Okay, I was just curious.
we'd like to have it from the street just look much sharper than it does now.
Great.
I don't, you know, we're not anticipating changing the gas station canopy or too much else really. So.
Okay.
Are you keeping the car wash?
Yes. I'd like to put different signage on the car wash and make it, but the building would stay and we'd put a new car wash inside it, but that wouldn't affect the outside at all, so.
Mm-hmm. And that's going to be a Dunkin' Donuts?
That's what we anticipate, yeah.
Well, Kip, you want to add anything?
As long as he unmutes.
You're muted. You're muted. You're unmuted.
I think you're still muted.
There we go.
There you go. No, now
I
you're on.
figured it out. I wasn't sure if that was the host muting me or me muting me.
No, that was
I-
you.
I agree everything with Mike. The building's really in very good condition. So if you look on the elevation, it's just that additional Dunkin' part. and it will be opened up into the building. We've already gone through the code ramifications for the building with Al and Sean. So as far as that stuff, we know what we need to comply with for that. We have Marathon Engineering doing the site work, and we have the 2 drive-throughs segregated so that they separate long before the queue, and then they come back together at the car wash. Those 2 things operate at very different times of the day. Dunkin's very busy in the morning. Car wash is more on way home from work or things like that. We meet all of the requirements. There's no variance required for the site plan. I did have a question on will the planning board be able to, or the one that issues the special permit for the drive-through? Is there anything we need to do for that?
Well, it's part of your application. Lisa, do we have a special permit opened up or just the site plan?
I think it's part of the site plan for the special use permit.
Okay.
It's all wrapped up.
Yeah, that's what I thought. We
Okay.
both wanted to make sure we're on board with this because it's in the overlay district. There's a visual aspect in the architecture. Just wanted to get a feel for everyone liked this idea, and then now we can move ahead.
Yep, I think we're all nodding our heads yes. So
Okay.
move ahead.
I know informal review head nodding counts for something.
Hey, Kip, it's Joe.
Oh, hey.
Hey, are you getting rid of the kerosene station there?
Mike, that you probably should answer that one.
Well, do you like kerosene or not? And that's how I'll answer the question.
I have no problem with kerosene. It just looks like you're putting the drive-through with a kerosene
Yeah,
dispenser.
no, we would definitely be taking that tank out and that pump, but it's obviously not a big part of our business.
Yeah.
It's kind of a afterthought if I decide to put another one in. Even to put a small tank underground nowadays is a $30,000 prospect. So it just probably would not stay, to be honest. So
Okay. And the brick, are you just matching what brick is out there with the rest of the building additions and the pilasters and things? Or is it all new brick?
Well, the building, we have some flexibility, although the chimney is kind of a major thing that is in the brick. And when Mike built the car wash, they found that brick was still available. So we feel pretty tied to that, but we have flexibility on color of windows, siding, what color the roof is, what color the beams are, and all that. I'm going to say probably very tied to the whitish tan brick.
Yeah. Okay. It just, you only have a small portion of the existing building with the brick on it, and it looks like you're covering over most of that glass, breaking a new opening, so shortening it up. Like, you're right, the chimneys have, but I don't see anything on the car wash building that has brick on it, unless it's right at the grade level. Just a couple of.
Oh, the whole car wash is white brick.
Really? Okay, I'm just looking at it from 96 on Google Earth and Street View, and I don't see any brick there at all, unless it's concrete block that's painted.
Well, it's a Norman style split face brick. So it kind of looks like split face block. So when we say brick, it's a very large 16-inch by 4-inch, I think, Norman, bigger than Norman style split face brick.
Yeah.
But it's all
okay. Yeah, no, I think it's a nice update, like the others have said. So I don't have any problem with it. I appreciate you guys dressing up the site some more.
It's kind of a shock to realize the things that were built when we were kids are now eligible for the National Register and preservation. It only takes 50 years. So we want it. It's a nice place.
It looks good to me. And I think everybody is agreeing that this is a good project, so move ahead. You got
Okay.
the You have to make your application and proceed it back again.
Okay.
Very much.
Maybe a little bit of time lag between now and then. We do have a fair amount of work to get done. It looks like,
No, move at your own speed.
Mike, anything from you?
No, I appreciate your time, and it is, I call it a Brady Bunch style building, but I like the style of the building and I like to keep it. So appreciate your consideration.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Next is a public hearing. And I just note speakers are requested to limit comments to 3 minutes. And if you go beyond that, you're going to be asked to stop at 5 minutes. This is the Ott Minor subdivision, 04 MS 2020, 1086 Strong Road, zoned residential 2. Owner is Trust the Ott Irrevocable Survivors. Applicant is requesting to subdivide the parcel into 3 lots, with 1 lot comprised of land on the west side of Strong Road, and the land on the east side of Strong Road will be divided into 2 lots. Note here that we're waiting for code, county, and conservation comments. Do we have any of those in yet, Lisa?
We don't have county. They meet tomorrow, so there's no resolution tonight, but you should have code.
Yeah, it came through today.
And then Conservation Board was added today too.
Right. Have they made their walk yet?
No, they haven't. Not that I know of yet.
And Labella was waiting for the ag data statement. Still waiting for that, Wes?
No, that's been submitted, so we're all set there.
Okay. And there's a note here that we'll need a note on the plans that indicates lots 2 and 3 are unapproved building lots.
Yep, so I've seen an updated subdivision map, which has addressed Labella's comments that we sent out on December 29th. So they've satisfied that plan notation request.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, Mr. Venezia, you want to tell us a little something? Now, we had it here last month, and there were other people on, but I see you're the only one now. Just to refresh the board's recollection of what you're planning to do.
Last meeting was the O'Neill subdivision.
Was?
Yeah,
This
This one is-
on Strong Road.
that was County Road 41. This one is Strong Road.
Oh,
This is a minor.
okay. See what a month can do to your gray cells. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Venezia. Or may I call you Rocco?
Rocco's fine.
Okay.
So what we're proposing, I got the draw, you have the drawing in front of you, I'm assuming.
Yep, we do have that.
Okay, this is roughly a 50-acre parcel. It has an enormous amount of frontage on Taylor Road and a lot of frontage on Strong Road. What we want to do is separate the west side of Strong Road and the south side of Taylor in a 35.961 acre parcel. And then the remaining parcel on the east side of Strong Road, we want to kind of split that into 2 parcels, an 8.5 and a 6.9. These are fairly good sized lots. They do meet all your zoning requirements. We're not proposing any development at this point. And the people that are buying this from the estate are well aware that they've got to come before you if they contemplate building for site plan approval. That's pretty much the overview.
So right now, you're just looking to subdivide, right?
Just a subdivision, yeah.
Okay, anybody from the board have anything? Let me see, Joe Logan?
Sorry. There, sorry. Not at this time. I don't think there's any real issues with, green space and conservation districts at this point, because each one's going to be its own lot that will have its own requirements based on this, I'm assuming.
Good.
That's all I got.
Okay. Scott, Carter?
I guess the only question I have for you, Rocco, is for the easterly parcels, is there a safe place to put a driveway cut on those? Is there adequate site distance and driveways?
The one already has a driveway there.
Right.
By the building. And then I would recommend a safe place would be right in line with Taylor Road on the other parcel. To kind of join up that intersection. So there is an existing drive on the southern part, lot number 3. And then lot 2, I would say right at the intersection, Scott. Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, I think like Canandaigua, Victor has these access regulations, and I just wanted to remind you of that.
Yeah. Would you guys want us to go out and do the site distances, or?
I think it would be a good thing just to confirm that each lot before the property lines are established, can support a safe driveway.
So we looked at it, Scott, and the driveway that's to the barn there is safe. And then I'm sure that Taylor Road, but we certainly can add the site distances there for you.
I think that would be helpful.
The one,
Scott.
The one item with that, Rocco, is if you're coming straight from Taylor Road right into the T at Strong, there's a double arrow that basically tells cars they have to stop as an additional visual. And if people run that stop sign for some reason, I mean, they could go right into a driveway. I would offset it a little, depending on where you have the site distance issues, I would think.
We certainly can offset it if that's what you guys desire.
That's my suggestion. It's not a requirement, but I don't think it's.
Well, let me do this. Let me show some site distances in a couple of different places there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll let whoever builds a house come back to you. I mean, we're going to make sure it's adequate now, and whoever builds a house come back to you, and you can, because you'll have to approve that anyways at that point.
Yeah. Wes, you got any comment on that? Is there a policy against putting it at, because we've done this in subdivisions before where they, where we've asked them not to put the house right at the end of a street because lights will shine in the front or things like that. This is just
I
a
know.
driveway.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I understand.
Joe, that's Scott Harder's made a great point. I think in Rocco, it sounds like he's willing to go ahead and get some site distance measurements for the subdivision plan.
yeah.
And I think it's a wise thing to do.
I certainly can do it. I don't mind doing it at all.
Yeah,
So
it's
I'm
in a
gonna
good
get
spot.
I'm gonna get Scott with his GPS go out and shoot it for me.
Well, Rocco, that we've had discussions, you and I, about Canandaigua and driveways and access and all that happy stuff. And so
Sure
here in the town of Victor, we have the same discussions going.
So what you're telling me is you're just as sophisticated as the town of Canandaigua? I always thought you were way ahead of them. Actually.
You're right.
I could see being south of Taylor being better than north of Taylor, because if you're on north looking south, there's a crest just past Taylor, and so there's some issues with seeing vehicles over that ridge. So yeah, it would be helpful, I think.
I'll be sure I look at it from a couple of different angles and give you some guys enough knowledge to make the decision.
Thank you.
Good. Okay, Joe Limbeck, anything?
Well, this is my first minor subdivision. So even though I've completed my rookie year, I've still got questions. I don't know if we need to ask about are there open space requirements? Are there other things that we would talk about with a major subdivision that we need to be aware of for a minor? I just don't know what the rules are, so I'm not sure what questions I should be asking.
Well, you can ask whatever you want. This is an informal discussion.
Then again, my concern is wildlife corridors, open space. I don't know if conservation easements are required in this minor subdivision environment, but Rocco, I am very interested in, preservation as much of the natural features on the properties as we can. Have you given thoughts to that?
So to answer that, Joe, because it's a subdivision and we don't know where houses are gonna go and, all that good stuff, we're a little hesitant to designate conservation areas where somebody might want to build. So at this point, the lots are so big. And, if somebody builds a house on 8.5 acres, they're only gonna affect, less than 1/10 of an acre with their driveway, with their driveway in their house. So I think that in itself, certainly on the 35-acre piece, we're preserving a ton of land. And likewise, on the other pieces on the east side, I think we got a lot of land that ultimately going to be conserved like it is now. I think we end up with, structures are already there on the west side. And then the east side, there might be 2 new structures, but I think it's still those size parcels. Granted, I understand there's conservation easement requirements, but I don't know, at this point, I think it might be a little restrictive to a potential buyer. And I'm not sure the buyers are on this, but I know they were invited. So if they are, it might be a good time for one of them to kind of chime in.
So here's my perspective, Rocco. We just in December reviewed a major subdivision down the road from you. Yep. And their intent was just to sell lots. And yep. we came back with a request that they spend yep. a little more time looking at conservation easements because of the open space requirements. And that's where my confusion or my unfamiliarity with minor subdivision requirements versus major.
Oh, I can help with this. If I can direct you guys to section 21146 of the town code, which is open space. It's part of the zoning requirements. And it reads as follows. It reads, for all major residential subdivisions of land, 50% of the gross land area of subdivided parcel must be set aside for open space. Minor residential subdivisions will not require an open space set aside. So there's no requirement for an open space set aside here, which also would mean there's no requirement for conservation easements here.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Wes, it's Joe.
Yes, sir.
So as soon as one of the new owners of each parcel decides that they want to actually subdivide for additional lots, it becomes then a major subdivision, correct?
Mm-hmm. It may be. Joe, I think you may be right there, and I would certainly defer to the code enforcement officer to make that determination. But you're right. If further subdivision does occur and they create, I think is it more than 4 lots?
I thought it was more than 3, honestly.
I think it might be.
State law states 4 lots less than 5 acres. So if they were to divide it into 10 5-acre lots, they would be exempt. But if they cut off 4 lots, any 4 of which are less than 5 acres, correct, Scott?
That's right.
I'm not sure your rule goes with it, but I think it does, Scott.
The town regulation, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to check with Kim, but I think Joe's comment is good. He's right. It could trigger, depending on how they're configured, what their acreage is.
But rest assured, Joe, if we're working for the estate right now, and the estate's desire is to approach you and sell it like we're proposing.
Correct.
Any further division or site plan would have to come before you, and you'd have that opportunity at that point.
Yeah, my point was just to make sure that they were aware that any further subdivisions may subject that work to additional rules and regulations in town. So, I'm not saying I don't-
They're certainly aware of that, Joe.
yeah, okay, that won't affect, I mean, my opinion about what you're doing now, it's not an issue, but in going forward, if someone comes forward for dividing the 35 acre one or whatever it is for 10 houses or something, then can be, that'll be major for sure. Even if you
I
divide it in
understand.
half or thirds, so.
No,
So,
I 100% understand.
okay, thanks.
Joe, you're correct. The town law is for subdivisions off the parent parcel. And that went into effect in 1977. So
Okay.
anything after that off that parent parcel becomes a minor or major subdivision once it gets divided.
Okay,
I think Rocco's also correct. I think that the acreage matters. So if your lots are smaller than 5 acres in size, then it triggers that. But if they're larger, then it does not.
so how do we capture that if something comes forward, say 5 years from now even, that it's noticed that that parcel was part of a 3-lot subdivision, and that needs to be taken into consideration?
That history would be recorded with our codes,
Okay.
it'd be the town's responsibility.
I think
Right.
that actually came up a year and a half or so ago over on Lane Road when the Philippone company bought that lot. They were going to cut it into 4 lots. The houses, the 3 houses along High Street were a minor subdivision, and him subdividing triggered a major, I think.
Okay. So it's not unheard of for sure, so.
Yeah.
Other than
I
that,
haven't
I
got
have
any
no-
more
Anybody
questions.
else? Okay. Al?
No, we've covered all the points, and I was kind of on, Joe's thinking that, right, we just need to be consistent with the applicant that we saw in December, but if the differentiation is major versus minor subdivision, then I'm certainly fine with where we are on this one.
Okay, very good. Anybody else?
I'd
Not
like
hearing
to
anything.
I'd like to just tell you, Rocco, only applicants and owners are allowed on the Zoom invite. I know that there is some public comment that Susie's waiting, and I know the potential buyers were asking questions.
Okay,
Just to clarify, only board members, applicant, and owners are allowed on the Zoom invite, but they can comment on YouTube.
but I'm able to do it because I'm the applicant.
Yes, you are.
Yes,
That's fine. So can I ask you a question?
sure.
Is this a public hearing?
No.
Yes. This is the public hearing that.
So if the public can't have
Oh, yeah.
input,
Man, I'm so confused tonight.
Yes,
I'm confused because if the public can't have input, how can it be a public hearing?
They can comment through YouTube.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yep,
Thank you.
yep.
Thank
So
you.
Susie
Thank
is
you.
just waiting for Ernie to ask for public comment, and then she can start reading off all those comments.
Okay,
Okay,
so
Susie,
you're gonna do that
anything?
before we sign off?
Yes.
yeah, we're gonna do it right now.
Okay,
Can you
you
hear
guys
me?
are really high
Everybody
tech.
Can you hear me? Ernie, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Okay, the first comment is from a Sarah Canzano at 23 Rothbury Circle. She says, in regards to 1086 Strong Road subdivision, it is in a location where Victor's access management plan conceptualized a potential future road connection. She wanted to know if this is a realistic possibility considered by the board.
Well, I
don't
guess
know
we're
where the
gonna have
road
to,
connection would be. I'm unfamiliar with it.
So what I can do is I can, in preparation for the next meeting, I can bring the planning board up to speed with the access management plan and the town's official map. And we can help resolve that comment. I don't think we're prepared tonight to discuss it in detail, but we can prepare for the next meeting.
So was it a potential connection between Willis Hill and Strong? So taking Taylor to run through to Willis Hill Road?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Because that would cut that lot in half.
Right.
So in terms of, that considering that the Anderson subdivision just north of there did envision a connection all the way through, but then in the end, it was not made a connection all the way through. It's a
Right.
cul-de-sac. So in this case, I guess it would be Taylor Road all the way over to Willis Hill and then leading into Modoc if that even worked. But geometrically, I don't see how that functions. So I'll be interested to see what you come up with there, Wes.
Okay.
There's
okay.
another comment by John Aldrich, Taylor Road, saying that it is a potential dangerous intersection and that people fly down Strong Road all the time.
Do
So
they
another
go
good
off the
reason
road?
to do the site distance calcs for that driveway.
Hmm. Can the person that made that comment clarify what he means by they come down the road all the time?
Just says that he lives on Taylor Road and people fly down Strong Road all the time and that it is a potentially dangerous intersection.
Is that fly down, FLY?
Correct.
Okay.
And he also added in regards to driveways coming out onto Strong. He wants to make sure they're in a safe place.
But that's one of the things that the site distance will tell us.
Yep.
And then there's another comment also, if you're ready for that.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's from Sarah Canzano again. She says, if the west side of Strong Road is subdivided in the future, prompting a major subdivision, would it result in conservation easements on their existing lots 2 and 3 on the east side of Strong Road?
So I mean, that's a reasonable question, right? I guess there's potential that in the future, maybe a property owner might want to subdivide the parcel. As far as where the conservation easements are placed, I think the planning board would want to look at the environmental resources that are available in these locations to determine what is the best place for these conservation easements. And, would they be contiguous to other conservation easements in the area? So maybe there are some environmental resources like steep slopes or wetlands or streams. There is a DEC classified stream on the parcel that's on the southwest corner of Taylor and Strong Road. So that's a potential location for these conservation easements, but I think that would be determined at the time that a future application comes into play. It's probably, I guess it might not be likely for the lots 2 and 3 on the east side of Strong Road. If that's not part of a future subdivision, then it's not likely that a conservation easement would be placed there. But I guess that's to be determined.
That's it for the
Any
comments.
other comments?
Yeah, and I guess was just, to the extent that the lots on the east side were purchased and no longer owned by whoever's contemplating developing the west side, I don't know how you could put any other additional future restrictions on those parcels. So the 35 acre parcel would have to bear the total requirements of the conservation easement.
Right.
Could you do that the converse way? If you take those two lots on the east side and one of them is subdivided into two more lots, for instance, and triggering a major subdivision, then you got to look at the conservation only on those two lots. And the rest of the land on the west side, south of Taylor, is all farmland, and it just stays that way. But I mean, you could go around with this, in multiple iterations, I think. I'm with you, Al. You can't encumber any of the parcels with a particular conservation easement in a minor subdivision like this for the future. So whoever comes up first with a subdivision has to look at on only their parcel what can be or needs to be done for a conservation easement.
And then that in and of itself may preclude further subdivision potentially.
Yeah, certainly of the two easterly lots, but the main lot, the 35 acre lot, I'm sure will have some additional restrictions for number of houses and area available for conservation, all that. So.
Comments on that question? Any other comments from anybody else? Susie?
No, Sarah just added that she said they wouldn't be subdividing any further on lots 2 and 3, and that they are separate purchases.
That certainly makes sense. Not huge lots for major subdivision.
Sarah is one of the buyers, correct? Lisa?
I believe so, yes,
Okay.
from
Yeah, I do
past
too.
correspondence.
I do too. My son has been working on it, but I believe that's true.
Okay. Is that it for the comments?
Yes.
Susie?
Yep.
All right. Any other comments from the board or Wes?
I don't have anything further right now. Thanks.
Okay. Is this coming back next meeting?
If they are ready to, we can place them on the January 26th, if they would like to be placed there.
How about that, Rocco?
I think he's frozen.
He is
Oh,
frozen.
he's studying.
Rocco, are you there?
Oh, are you waiting on me?
Yeah.
I'm
You want to come
sorry.
back to the next meeting?
I'm checking the email. So what was the question? I
Yeah.
apologize.
You want to come back at our next meeting?
I guess I have to. Yeah.
Okay, that's January. What is it, Lisa?
January 26th, and we'll have county comments back by then also.
So on the 26th, if the attorney's involved here, call me. I can tell them on the 26th, we might get approval.
Yeah, it depends
Is
on
that
the
correct?
other. Well, we got, still waiting for the county to come back, but
But
they
if,
should be back by then.
so if they're back by then, we should be able to get approval at that meeting.
It sounds like,
Unless something comes up.
sounds like Wes's comment is yet to be understood in terms of the road extension or whatever that was about.
Yeah, we'll address that topic at the next meeting, and as well as the site distance issue. And we can be prepared potentially to have a decision at the next meeting.
I'll get that in the next couple of days. I'll email you some within a couple of days.
All right. Any other business?
I'm good.
Okay. That was the last one, so I'd be entertaining a motion to adjourn. Oh, what do you,
Good night.
Oh.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
welcome.
See you,
Dave
Scott.
Zollenberg makes the motion. Scott makes this, seconds it. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, guys, have a good night.
Hey,
See ya.
Yeah.
To see you again, Dave.